So today we're talking about syncing some or all of your tasks to calendars. And this is really just to show you that it's not sort of an all or nothing syncing your tasks. A lot of you already know about how to sync your tasks, but just to show you the different options that you've got when you are filtering them. All right, so let me head on over to Pipeline. All right, so like I mentioned, the objective is to get your tasks to Pipeline. In this day and age, pretty much we all kind of live by our calendars. And I'll be the first one to admit, basically, if it's not on my calendar, it might as well not exist. So if you're anywhere close to that, syncing your pipeline tasks and what you need to get done in pipeline is hugely critical to be on your calendar. So that's why we're going over this today, so that you're fully aware of your options of getting all of your tasks onto your calendar or certain tasks onto your calendar, etc. Okay, so let's hop over to our tasks page. So you're probably many of you are probably already aware that the tasks page is where you can view all tasks across all transactions. So if you're an agent, you can see all of your tasks that are coming due, and they're sorted in priority order across all transactions. If you're an admin, you can see all tasks across all transactions for all of your agents, right? So a hugely critical place to go to manage everything that needs to get done in its priority order, etc. Okay. So, and this is from where you launch syncing your tasks. If you're not aware what tasks are, those are elements on your checklist. I'm sure you probably all do know already, but if not, please, please, please feel free to take a look at our old webinars related to that subject, or reach out to us, or look at help articles, because we definitely want you to be utilizing those. They are pretty much the lifeblood of Pipeline, because they help you get your transactions done. They help that whole workflow. They help identify what needs to still be done, etc. Okay, so definitely should be using those. And again, tasks is the central location to manage those. So when you're syncing your tasks, actually, let me back up. You've got several different methods of filtering your tasks on this page to help you manage them better. And a few of them are really beneficial for syncing to your calendar, right? So that the overall features that you've got to be able to help manage these tasks on this page are being able to search, right? So I can search by task name if I'm looking for a particular task or a particular group of tasks. I can even, if I'm using @mention, let me, actually I'll go over @mention a little bit more in a bit. If I'm using @mention where I've @mentioned someone's name here, I can type the @mention, and that allows me to find all the tasks where someone has been @mentioned. I can do that this way as well, but sometimes I can, if I strategically named my @mentions, I can do a search a certain way this way as well. I can search by transaction name if I'm looking for all tasks for a particular transaction. So super helpful to do an ad hoc search here, right? I can also filter based on visibility. So if I want to see all tasks that have visibility for admins or agents, etc., and I'll go over in a little more detail about visibility in a moment. But if I wanted to filter that way, I could do that. This is definitely one of the filters that's beneficial for syncing to your calendar. And again, we'll go over that in a moment. If I wanted to filter to see tasks that are coming up today or tomorrow, right, or those that are overdue, I could filter that way as well. I mentioned a moment ago, I can filter to show only my tasks that I'm @mentioned on, which I appear to not have any. But this is helpful. Carol, do you mind adding a few of those for me? I thought we had a few. So that way I can see all those where I'm mentioned. That's definitely another filter that's beneficial for syncing to your calendar, right? Okay, I've got some now, right? So on these tasks I'm @mentioned. Actually, I'm sorry, I turned that off. I think Carol's adding some. They'll be there in a moment. I can, if I'm looking at some agent checked tasks, I can filter by that, and that way that's really helpful for me as an admin to be able to say, oh, well, it looks like whoever the agent is here, Daniel has already checked off earnest money. I can go to this transaction, take a look at it and make sure it looks all complete, etc. Right? And then also I can do some sorts and then show certain columns on this page if I want to. Okay, so those are the ways that I can manage the tasks on this page. The filters that are really beneficial to sync to your calendar are under filter, visibilities. So if I wanted to, and I mentioned that I explained more what these visibilities are, you've got the ability to assign visibilities for each task when you're setting up the checklist template, right? So if I only wanted a task to be visible to admins, so it doesn't clutter up the agent's view, I could assign that to be visible to admins. If I only wanted the listing agents on the transactions, on a particular transaction that checklist exists to see it, I could do that, etc. Right? So that visibility is beneficial to filter on, because maybe I only want to sync tasks that are visible to admins, right? So I only want to see on my calendar those admin tasks. I don't want to be, I want my view to be cluttered with all the agents, the ones that are assigned to be visible to agents as well. Okay, that's one of the filters. And then the other filter is if I only wanted to view, and so Carol's added a couple here, if I only wanted to view those where I was mentioned. Okay, so if I only wanted to see those on my calendar, I could filter those only. So let's see how to actually do that. So let me start first with the visibility filter. So I'm going to filter by, let's say, only show me admin tasks. Okay, so I've got three admin tasks. So, and they're due today and on the 13th. So let me go ahead and sync those. So I've ran this search or this filter. So now I come up to whatever calendar I use. I happen to use Google Calendar. I'm going to go ahead and click that link. It's going to ask me, or am I sure? Do I want to add that calendar? I can go ahead and add it. I need to refresh. Oh, normally I have to refresh my page, but this appeared automatically. So here you can see that I've got those two tasks that are past due, or excuse me, due today, and then that one that's due on the 13th, similar to over here, right? Those three tasks. It came in with this name here, Pipeline Tasks from Carol Francis. I can rename that if I want to, actually under settings, but I'm fine with it for this for now. So I can add that title if I want to. But basically I've got these now synced, and any tasks that get added that meet that criteria or removed that meet that criteria, the calendar will adjust accordingly. Okay, so that's one filter. The other filter is filtering your @mention tasks. So @mention is the feature that allows you to mention someone, some person, or a role, meaning a role that the person has been defined under manage users. So I can mention a whole role like @staff, right? And that'll highlight those tasks here on the transaction and in the reminder emails for anyone that fits that role or is that person's name or however you specify them. Okay. So again, I filtered to show only my tasks that are highlighted or @mentioned for me. And now if I sync that calendar, actually, let me get rid of this other one. Oops, delete that. So it's clean again, just so that you can see it. And I will go ahead and sync again by clicking Google Calendar, because that's my calendar. Add. And now I've got this calendar with tasks that are just for mine. Let me see. Actually, I've got some more there. Oh, did we get more? Let's see. Oh, okay. She added one more. Okay. So there are those three tasks there, right? That reflect that. Okay. So those are the two ways that you can filter, filter to and then sync to your calendar. And then you can also just sync all tasks. So if I just go to the tasks page straight, not run any filters, and then sync. Actually, let me delete this other calendar first so you can see it clean again. Remove that calendar, come back here. I'm going to sync. Go ahead and add that. Okay, and then all of my tasks will be synced since I didn't specify any filters. Now we found generally that tasks sync right away. You see it just took a few seconds for it to come into my calendar. We have found that in a few rare cases, it could take up to a couple of hours to sync to Google Calendar only the first time. And then it syncs within seconds afterwards. Honestly, we haven't seen that in quite some time. So for the most part, it's pretty instant, even for the first transmission, even for Google Calendar now. So you should have a pretty instant transfer of the information. And that's pretty much it. So that's syncing your tasks, whether you're syncing all of them, syncing some of them via the filters, etc.